Hi everyone, this is Joe from the JodoCast. If you enjoy what we do here at the JodoCast and think it's worth your hard-earned money, you can support the show via Patreon. The show is ad-free and we depend on the support of our generous patrons to pay our bills, upgrade old equipment, and bribe Imperial officials. Just a $2 donation gets you access to exclusive content such as off-topic discussion videos, uncut videos of the show, the ability to watch us record the show live and even chat with us as we do so, access to the patron exclusive channel on our Discord server, access to YouTube videos before anyone else gets to watch them, and more. Consider becoming a Noodle Scooter today. And now back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the JodoCast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 128. My name is Evan Lewis. I am, of course, joined by Leo Andry.
Yep.
And Joe Latovsky.
Howdy doody.
And as always, we are brought to you by patrons like you. We would not be here still doing the people's work if it were not for the good men and women who support us every day.
The people.
On patreon.com/thejodocast. And they will, if they miss tonight, because they can join us in Discord chat and have their voices heard, but they can also see this video on demand within the next 24 hours. I don't want to put that burden on Joe, but typically, within 24 hours, they'll be able to watch this over and over and over and over again. And then, of course, everybody else gets to hear our voices probably within a week or so, depending on what life decides to throw at me. But in any case, thank you, patrons, for all that you do, keeping us alive. You keep the lights on, you put food in our kids' bellies and roofs over our heads. So, thank you so much. And with that, we're going to get to... Yes?
I was just going to say, don't we have the pre-recorded stuff about the patrons at the beginning of the episode?
Yes.
I mean, we have a good ad, but it's always good to say thank you.
I just don't want us to be like all redundant at the beginning of the episode.
Well, you don't have to be. I will be. Besides, it's not Joe saying it again. It's me saying it again. And I practice in my head doing the NPR thank yous because, we're going to have the annual pledge drive at some point, and we'll give totes and coffee mugs away, right?
That'd be cool.
I love a tote. Everyone loves a good tote.
Totally.
Totes. I totes love totes.
We could put them all on a boat.
Boat on a tote.
Tote boat?
Tote boat.
Rent a goat?
No more rhyme.
Anybody want a peanut? Haha! I'm a jokester. So, Joe, what you been playing, yo? 60 seconds on the clock.
Painting Legion and probably some squadrons. And
probably?
Yeah, I don't remember how much. I've probably played since the last time we talked. That might be it. But I did get a new game in the mail. Star Wars Talisman arrived, and I'm excited to try that out soon and do some videos of it and a review and how to play and turn our whole thing into a Star Wars Talisman channel. I've never played a Talisman game, but I had to order it from Amazon Germany because it's one of them games you can't buy here.
Yeah, who publishes that?
The Op.
Oh, really?
Like, it says Warhammer official license product on the back, too.
That's what I was wondering, because Talisman is definitely like a long ways back Games Workshop property.
1983 was the first edition of Talisman.
Wow. I was alive. Well, I'd say getting a foreign Star Wars game in the mail certainly counts. Leo, what you got?
A half base coated A mini.
A mini?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
What is it?
That was 2 paint sessions worth of painting.
2 paint sessions for I know you paint a lot slower than me, but how long are these paint sessions that 2 of them can only get you halfway through the base coating on a miniature?
I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Oh. Okay. Which miniature?
Bobo.
Bobo? The dog-faced boy?
Yep. I did add more boxes to my tower though. So
great.
We
should be tracking that. We should have the tower tracker through the year. Have weekly updates. So, do we need to have? Okay, I'm gonna chew into my time for this because my time consists of looking at Legion miniatures at the store. Figuring out what I want to get next, but also going through my Imperial Assault and realizing, oh crap, I might be too late to get any more. Although I think Amazon still has a good bunch available. But as I'm looking at my Descent stuff and like, ugh, I didn't even get half of them, and I'm looking at my Imperial Assault going, ugh, I didn't even get a tenth of them. And I hate being non-completionist. So, I'm going to chew into my time to say, what do we got to do, Leo? What do we got to do to get you back in the painting game?
End the pandemic and let me start playing the game again.
So it really is just dependent on playing to get you to paint?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no joy, it's just get them on the damn table?
Well, I mean, there's joy in it, but not enough to want to paint them if I'm not going to be using them.
All right. Well, I mean,
the end is near. As soon
as
Kurt gets that sweet shot, you guys can just play in his basement or your basement or whatever. So you better get painting because the end of the road is soon, and when it's time to play again, people are going to be like, wow, well, look at all the stuff we all painted over the year. Show it. Want to play with all of our cool painted stuff we've never played with before?
It's true.
And then Leo will be like, yeah, yes.
That sounds like him. Like, I got a half a base coat. I think Leo quit. I'm looking at the Star Wars Gaming News channel, so I'm not looking at the Leo channel.
Oh, he's still there.
He's still there? Okay, great. I'm glad he didn't run off and be like, F you guys. Alright, I guess that's it then. Joe is the only one doing his job. Doing what we pay him to do. Then let's move on and talk about, hopefully, I can get this out within a reasonable amount of time so that we can reference this past weekend, the weekend of the, 18, 19, 20th of March? Is that correct? Is that what it was?
Sounds right.
Sounds correct enough.
Close enough. Great. All right. We had the Atomic Mass Games, not Mini-Apocalypse, not Mini Ragnarok, the
Mini Hoedown.
Mini Hoedown, that was it, pretty sure. Mini Showdown at the OK Corral. Stravaganza 2021, which it was far more than most reveal shows. Like, I was very impressed by what they'd put together. They really tried to do a convention. like a whole convention online with I didn't get to watch everything, but I know looking at the schedule, like there were seminars, there were classes. Most of it just about like the hobby side of this whole of the hobby. When I say the hobby side, it's the painting side mostly, because there's not a lot of like converting going on, but painting different kinds of miniatures, doing how to do certain techniques with your painting.
Didn't they show off in one of their streams? They had like didn't they have like some mud trooper conversions or something? Or
it's entirely possible that they did.
It might have just been one of like the images they were showing off, but it was like attached to their one about like matching squad colors or whatever.
I didn't see that one.
But it was actually kind of interesting. Like it looked like it was kind of like Krennic's body, but with like Veers's head on it, and then like Snow Trooper arms. So you got it, and then some stuff like that. And then there was a couple other ones. I don't know. They made like really interesting like Mud Trooper conversions.
Wow.
And again, I don't know if it was like theirs or if it was just one of those fan submitted ones, and they just happened to post that along with the thing saying like, "Hey, join us for the squad color stream at whatever time," because I never watched that. I didn't watch that stream.
Yeah, I did not catch much of it either. And we've got Patron the Beard 1808 joining us in chat. Hello. Hopefully, I suppose I can just jump in there too. I don't need to keep myself to just the news channel. Oh, hi. But yeah, it was very cool. I was very impressed by what they put together. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Except for the part where their Legion stream died.
We'll get to the whole thing here in just a second. Obviously, there was some Marvel Crisis Protocol brought up. I don't know if it was brought up within the same sentence as Star Wars, because they seemed very gun-shy about that initially. But yeah, there was a bunch of that. It wasn't just Star Wars from start to finish. And I've said a lot of things about Crisis Protocol, but some of their newer models look very good. And if it wasn't for the core box having, relative to the other ones, the worst models, I would probably get it for myself.
I'm thinking I might put, when I assemble someday, the ones you got me, I'm thinking I might see if I can mod like Captain Marvel at least to be on a flight stand instead of just on her rock or whatever it is. And I think there might be one other one, like maybe it was Iron Man, who I think would look better on a flight stand. I thought there was one other one.
Iron Man he's kind of like standing
and like doing one of these things.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't him. I thought there was one other one that I thought I'd saw one time, and I thought like, wow, that would look way better on a flight stand. But anyways, for sure, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I agree. The other one that I wish, and this is total tangent, but I wish Doc Ock was like up on two of his arms. That would look better than just him standing there cross-armed. Like, it's boring. But in any event, it's looking good. Like, it's looking really good. I don't think a heck of a lot about the art direction on some of the cards, but be that as it may, they're doing good work over there at Atomic Mass. And before we even get to the Star Wars reveals, we should talk about the what would you call them? I guess they called them global campaigns. These are very interesting because they were obviously meant for a weekend of play, as if we were all going to be together, like at Adepticon, and people would be able to play a whole bunch of games with a whole bunch of people and contribute to this global campaign.
but then they went and they announced them, you know, it was the day before.
It was the day before.
Mini-Stravaganza, right?
Yes, I think
so
it was
basically
Wednesday.
it was like, hey, you're gonna be able to play games during the weekend, and here's some special rules scenario. And then, like, as the weekend went on, they kept adding more stuff to the scenario, so it was kind of a progressive thing. And they were all really neat. They did it for Armada, X-Wing, and Legion. And then the one cool thing is then they had a website you could go and report. You play a game, and then you just go on the website and report what faction won. And then that would determine what sort of alternate art stuff is going to appear in future OP kits. For Legion, they said it's going to be Force Push. They had a dark side and a light side version of the card, drawn up, and then depending on which faction won more games during this weekend, that's the one that's going to be in the OP kit. And I don't know. I think they should just release them both as a double-sided.
Right, I guess a lot of the OP cards have been. I feel like almost all of them for Legion have been double-sided with like rebels on one side, Empire on the other, or clones on one side, droids on the other.
And so the idea behind it is very cool, and I really like the idea that they're doing something to kind of change things up beyond just a standard game. But it did kind of suck that basically you had no warning, especially in this current environment where it's really hard to just be like, hey, let's just get together real quick and play a game so we can do
even
this
in
thing.
like normal times, I need like a week heads up before I do that sort of thing.
Unless you're one of those very few people who were lucky enough to live in a pod with people who have similar hobbies, then you could just be playing all weekend, and that's great. And maybe those few people influenced the entire campaign.
I'm willing to bet that something like 90% of whatever games were reported ended up being played on like Tabletop Simulator and Vassal.
Yeah, probably.
And now we'll just be counting down the days until there's an official virtual tabletop under Asmodee, because didn't they buy someone recently? A virtual tabletop?
Yeah, they bought... I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's basically like you said, it's a virtual tabletop system, so yeah, I feel like that might mean that Tabletop Simulator's days are somewhat numbered.
Yeah, I mean, if people are having an official place to play things like Legion and X-Wing,
it was
certainly
Board Game Arena. That's what they bought.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Which is actually it's a decent site.
Good.
I played quite a lot of games on there over the pandemic here with friends.
Yeah,
so.
it's very good. It's very different from Tabletop Simulator, though. It's not like a physics environment. It's just like pictures and stuff. It works better. It's more playable, I think, because it's tailored to each game. Where Tabletop Simulator
it's more like Vassal rather than Tabletop Simulator.
Except it looks
the two of them
quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Like, I'll certainly look forward to giving that a shot.
You could play X-Wing on there if, like, it's not on there. You can't play X-Wing on there, but I'm thinking it could be made on there because X-Wing could be played top-down 100%. Legion, I don't think you could ever put Legion in that environment because Legion is more three-dimensional.
Yeah.
You could put Imperial Assault on there. You could put other games, but probably not Legion.
There is actually a Z-axis in Legion, unlike in X-Wing, where the Z-axis it would be more significant in a computer game. So they had campaigns, like you said, for Legion and X-Wing and Armada, and for Crisis Protocol.
Yeah, but we don't care about that right now.
You know what? I'm trying to break myself of the crap on everything else mindset. Is it? It's a new lease on life. I'm like the Winter Soldier. I'm trying to go out and find the games that I've wronged and correct my mistakes. So let's get on to, and I didn't stick around, or I didn't watch the X-Wing / Armada presentation because I was playing D&D. So, take it away. Yes, exactly.
Well, for Armada, they just revealed some cards for the expansions that are already coming out soon.
Yeah, I thought that was a little disappointing that we didn't really get anything new. It was just like, yeah, here's cards for these expansions you already know are coming.
They're all character cards, actually. They're basically, which are the most exciting ones for me as someone who doesn't play Armada or really care too much about like the mechanical effects. I just like to see what characters show up in that game. So that was cool, but I mean, I don't even know if we like Admiral Trench is coming for the Separatists, and Ahsoka and Plo Koon and Admiral Yularen and
I liked the Venator class Star Destroyer expansion because it's got Plo Koon, Ahsoka, and Wolf. And I tweeted out like, "Oh, this is the Dave Filoni starter pack." But yeah, the art on Yularen, I'm just like, what? What is this? Who's this guy? That's not my boy. That's not Wolf. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too picky.
Yeah, the art. He looks like a film actor from like the 40s. That kind of face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
or like the 1970s Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you look at like Yularen from A New Hope, I think it does. I think they did a fair job of making a younger version of what he would look like in real life versus his stylized Clone Wars version of himself.
Okay. So yeah, for Armada, that was all we got for Armada. For X-Wing, they showed some new pilot cards for those 3 packs that... Did they come out last week? Are they coming out this week?
They come out on Friday.
The Phoenix Cell, whatever the scum one is called, and the
Alliances and Rivalries? Is that it?
It's called like, I don't know. And then the Sky Strike Academy. They showed off some pilots for those, like Vader in a TIE Defender and Sabine in a A-Wing. Some other ones that were like whatever. So for the most part, that it was kind of whatever until they announced a new stuff. Because up until now, it was like, here's some more cards coming in the stuff you already know about. Mm-hmm. But they showed the Trident class assault ship, the
Colocoid destroyer or whatever.
Yeah.
The big squid looking ships.
Yeah, if you in the Clone Wars, they descend on Camino and like latch onto the buildings. You see them on the Camino map in Battlefront 2. It's a huge ship.
Yeah, so they'll be available for Epic Play. They're going to be both for Scum and Separatists.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
So it's either like some pirates who have one of those, or the Separatists. And what I thought was the most interesting is that it's going to have scenarios like previous large ships have had, but I don't think there's been too many of this in 2.0. But one of the scenarios is a cooperative experience, which is new to X-Wing. They said they used because like sometime last year they put out like the open alpha for solo rules for X-Wing, and they used what they learned from that to make this cooperative mode, which sounds really fun. If there's more co-op rules for X-Wing coming in the future. That's really exciting. I think they said the co-op mode was like you're like hunting this ship and like the tentacles of it like pop out of clouds or something. I don't know. But
Wow.
it sounds cool. And the
tentacles
models
move on the Mini.
Yeah, they're articulated slightly.
Wow. Slightly.
Wow.
We've got another patron joining us in chat. Meat Castle, welcome. We're talking about this last weekend's reveals from the Atomic Mass Games mini-apocalypse.
And we finally got to a reveal.
Yeah.
Or
There
what
was a lot
felt
to talk
what
about.
I
They
should
did
say
more
what felt
than
like a
just,
significant reveal. Yes,
here's-
the other
here's
stuff
some crap.
revealing those cards were real reveals, but
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. Carry on. What else for X-Wing? Or was the Colicoid...
That was kind of it.
Yeah,
well, there was one other thing.
yeah.
They had an art panel, which I really enjoyed, and it was literally just them going, here's some art from this card, and they had the art director guy on, like, explaining a little trivia about it or whatever.
I do love art panels at conventions.
I mean, the art is so good for all these Star Wars games, and it was fun to sit there and see a bigger version of it, without the card framing it, and, have them talk about the choices they made for why they did that. All of these things I think are on the Atomic Mass YouTube channel if you want to revisit them. But they ended with a card with some art, or not a card, just some art of the Razor Crest.
Ugh.
And they didn't like say, hey, this is coming to X-Wing, but they said it's coming to X-Wing.
But not anytime soon, as I recall.
They made it clear that this is something that they kind of want to start doing as Atomic Mass that they didn't do with Fantasy Flight, is basically show things off earlier, because the timeline to make a product like this is so long. They said it's still very early in production, so right now you can see this art, and that's about it, because nothing else is ready to show off yet. Mm. So that's cool. So the Razor Crest is coming to X-Wing. Unless they're being real cheeky and going to make people mad, and it's that ship chasing the Razor Crest that's coming to X-Wing.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean,
why not both?
Well, I can't wait.
When do we get Dave Filoni as an X-Wing pilot for X-Wing?
Hootie?
What?
I said, when do we get Dave Filoni as a pilot for X-Wing?
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Trapper Wolf, I think is the character's name.
And Richard Oyade as a pilot.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you get 0.
Anyways, we can speculate on that all day. So, cards for Armada, cards, and sweet, cool, epic ship for X-Wing. And well, I was going to wax poetic about, I'd sure like to see a lot more narrative and campaign stuff for X-Wing, because I would love that. And they've got scenarios, but anyways, that's a different conversation.
I feel like the kind of what we've seen out of Atomic Mass so far, I mean, in regards to what we've seen from Crisis Protocol, and then like the event they did over the weekend and stuff, I would say I think the odds of you getting more scenarios and campaign type stuff for Armada and X-Wing is probably higher now with Atomic Mass than it was with Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Fantasy Flight, like, they kind of tried to do that with X-Wing. Like, they would put some stuff in like the big ship.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. It always kind of felt sort of half-assed a little bit. Like some were okay, but some were kind of
yeah.
And same thing, like they did operations with Legion for like 10 minutes and then gave up on that.
Yes.
And they actually had some cool ones. There was Like there was one where you played like four games, 4 rounds of games, and each one progressed where it was like the first one was like a race between the Empire and the Rebels to capture this mine in like the center of the map. And then the next round, it was, depending on who captured the mine, that player would then have to defend it versus the other ones would have to try and assault their base in like the next round. And it kind of progressed like that. And I thought that was really cool. And I was all like, yeah, I really can't wait for Fantasy Flight to give us more stuff like this. And then they never did. That was like one of the last operations they published, I think. Well, out of like, I think they only published like 4 anyway, so.
Yeah, there was so much that could have happened. And like you said, it does seem like Atomic Mass is much more in tune with the hobby and play outside of competition. And that's music to me. That is glorious. So let's move on. We'll get to Armada Legion. They're both big. We'll get to Legion. They had a whole bunch of painting sessions. Like I watched a few of them. They spent one whole one talking about skin tones. They would spend a whole one talking about metallics and like their techniques, their in-house, like make the minis look good enough to go on the box techniques are far ahead of where I thought I was.
Yeah, I really liked their metallic one. Just like little tips, like their 3PO, they painted silver first and then like as like a base coat over the whole thing, and then they painted gold over top of that. And I was all like, wow, that looks really nice like that. Like it almost made me want to go back and repaint my 3PO, but I can't even get Daytona painted, so I don't think I'm gonna be repainting anytime soon.
Yeah, I saw parts of that one, and again, it was just like I think it's there's 2 guys that are the main painters. There's Dallas, who I'm pretty sure is an AMG original, but then it's gonna kill me. Their main
Will Schick to it.
Yeah. I mean,
because he did a lot of like he was painting the lat on their stream today, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. But the guy that was doing a lot of their painting back in Minnesota for FFG, he has carried over. And I don't remember his name because I'm a bad journalist and I didn't write it down.
Gavin, was it? I don't remember.
In any event, I mean it's certainly a good compilation of FFG people and AMG people on this team.
Did you watch the vehicle painting stream at all?
A little bit, where they were doing the bus.
Yeah, I really liked that. I after watching that, I'm like, ooh, I've seen people talk about them before, but
the makeup brush.
This was the first. Yeah, but this was the first video where I saw some of the makeup brushes in action enough to where so like, yeah, think I'm going to run to Target here and just buy a cheap set of makeup brushes.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff, and especially since Army Painter not too long ago brought out their new dry brushes that are basically makeup brushes.
Yeah, that's what. Like I said, I'm going to go to Target and buy some cheapo makeup brushes.
I would certainly start that way. Certainly for a new technique like that.
I'll probably finish that way too. I mean, for dry brushing type stuff, what do you want to buy an expensive brush for anyway?
Nah. Unless it's free.
I mean, you're beating the hell out of them when you're dry brushing them. So
yeah, I think my oldest brushes are definitely still my original dry brushes from 2018. And like Joe said, all of these sessions are on the AMG YouTube channel, and they're well worth your time. They are very, I don't want to say they're ASMR-y. They're very like lo-fi painting to chill to.
I actually took my favorite of their panels and cut it and re-uploaded it on our channel, just because it was like a smaller discussion in a bigger panel that I wanted to highlight.
Yeah. Go talk more
I just
about
really.
that.
They basically just talk about how they feel about competitive versus casual, because that's always a big topic in this hobby. And I just thought the things they had to say about it was very fascinating and interesting. And it's because it's always like, well, I love playing casual and I like narrative play and I like coming up with these little stories while I play, but also I like playing competitively. So it's like, where do I fit? And I liked what they had to say about it, so I had to yoink that and throw it on our channel, so it got a little bit more attention.
Very cool. Okay, now, finally, Legion. And as we discussed on our previous episode 127, we guessed that most of what was going to be shown off had already been leaked on a distributor's website. Was it a European distributor, I assume?
Yeah, I think it was the Germans this time.
I thought it was the same one as it's been like basically every time.
So it's like a Spanish one?
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
You're right.
At any rate, yeah, that's really all we ended up seeing. We did see some cards for the speeder truck and the LAT, LE, which I don't know. Does that stand for LAT Little Edition? What's the LE for?
As someone else pointed out, it's the French version.
Le Pétrole Transport.
Exactly.
That was the worst French accent ever, by the way.
The transport. Yeah, I liked it. They showed some more different like paint jobs and ways to paint that truck, but the cards, Triv as a pilot is just exciting. I don't even remember. Oh yeah,
He's the field
rebels,
commander.
Yeah, they each had a field commander that is like Shriv could hand out dodges, Governor Price could hand out aims, and then Clone Commander Fox could hand out surges. They all did that plus hand out a suppression token.
Well, no, they did different stuff. Like the Clone Commander Fox, he removed suppression.
Oh.
If I remember right.
I thought they were all essentially the same, just differing green tokens.
I swear that he actually removed suppression. Which...
Yeah, I thought clones loved suppression.
And we gotta look at the cards. So the AA5 is like 75 points, but it doesn't have any guns built in. You have to, grab a different weapon card to get any guns on it, and it's slow. It's only speed 1. Yeah, but it's got that big like oval base, so
yeah.
Speed 1 still takes you really far.
It'll make for a great narrative mission of get the transport from one end to the other end slowly.
Put Ryder on it as a pilot, so you can go speed 2.
There you go. And then
I think that Ryder only cares about your compulsory. That thing doesn't have compulsory.
Oh, is it just is it just compulsory that
I think Ryder Azadi lets you change the speed of your compulsory by 1. I think
that just shows you how often I play Rebel vehicles.
But yeah, we were talking because we did a stream of the stream, which you should check out because it was a lot of fun, and you'll get more of our thoughts on all this Legion stuff on there. But we were talking about how the AA5 is going to probably be the best mini for paint jobs. So you're going to get Winnebagos and like nerdy rocker vans and
the A-Team van, the Mystery Machine. There's,
I
mean, really like just any like iconic van out there. Like this thing is ready for its paint job.
It really is.
Even like you could print a hot dog and make it the Wienermobile.
I mean, and it's just, I don't know, it's just really cool. Like it's got all kinds of really cool like greebles and stuff on it.
Yeah, I think it looks great. It's definitely a dorky car, and that's why I like it. It looks like
I don't know how often I will ever actually pull it out in a game.
No.
But I am excited to have one painted up someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
It's got some good greebles, but it is a lot of flat panels. It is ready for transfers. It is ready for mucking it up. I don't think anyone's going to waste their airbrush paints on this one. I think this is going to be, I don't know. It's going to be grungy and it's going to be beautiful.
Definitely going to see if I can get one of my minis to be hanging out the side with her pistol. If the pose works, or if I can modify it.
See if Jin Odan, you can mod her at all. Get her to poke out the side.
She's too tiny. She'd look weird.
All right.
She's only be like half as tall as the door.
Well, her mini, she's also squatting.
She is, yeah, she is a tiny one. You can put her on top as it's zooming along.
The lat, although, is less exciting just because it's a very strange looking ship. Is still like, I don't know. I like the fact that they've shown that you can have like the passenger area, like the doors on that open, so you can have minis like standing in there or looking like they're shooting out the sides and stuff. I don't know. That's really cool. I'm honestly more excited for that than I am for being able to like see inside the interior of the speeder truck if I wanted.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot that's going to be done with that as well for modding.
Yeah, I'm sure we've seen, but I assume the top panel of the speeder truck is probably kind of one big thing that you could take off, and because it's a transport, so you could perhaps stick your dudes actually inside it when you're transporting them, rather than just setting them aside.
I don't remember when I don't know if they've actually seen it or if they've shown exactly how it assembles or not. They might have during that first like stream when that first time they showed off the mini when it was like Simone and Will, but I don't remember. That was like months ago.
I don't believe that they showed how it assembles, but I could be very wrong. We've all slept multiple times since then.
Well, the other stuff they showed off was, like we figured, things that had been leaked, but just because you know the name of a product doesn't mean it's still not exciting to see all the cards and minis, because they showed us a lot of sculpts and cards for stuff. I think they started with Yoda, actually.
Yeah. They showed off Yoda. They even did a painting session with Yoda and stuff. Some cool stuff we did find out is that there is going to be enough pieces in the box to be able to build both sculpts of Yoda.
Yeah, one is he's on his feet with his arm out, and he could either be holding a lightsaber or a cane, and the other one he's like leaping off a rock, very, much more action-y.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, both sculpts look really good. I like them both, and I'm glad they're not going to make you choose between the two, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
The card's abilities, some stuff like was it Ataru? That Ataru mastery that he's got? That ability is kind of nuts. It's like reading it's in like an entire block of text. It's like so much in one ability.
There's
Like
a
it
lot on
basically
those cards
gives him
now.
deflect, but he doesn't have to have dodge tokens. It's just whenever he surges, to defend, he gets to deflect damage back.
So he surges to deflect. Wow.
Yeah.
And yet, the thing that my big takeaway from his base stat card, even though he's got a Taru, he doesn't have jump.
Yeah, he doesn't have jump. He's only Master of the Force 2, which I guess I was a little surprised. I would thought he would have been 3. Because isn't Palpatine Master of the Force 3? Although I guess maybe
I don't know.
At this point, they're saying Palpatine was stronger in the Force than Yoda, which of course, I guess is sort of canonical.
We can also make the argument that in the 20 years, because this Yoda is Clone Wars Yoda, and our Palpatine model is Return of the Jedi Palpatine.
Yeah.
So we can argue it's a 20-year difference, and maybe if we ever got an Empire Strikes Back Yoda, not a Return of the Jedi Yoda, because he'd just lay there and die. He'd get like one turn with him, and then he's dead. Would be stronger. And the Palpatine from Revenge of the Sith, where he can pirouette in the air, it's a little weaker.
Yeah.
I want that model.
He is only
twirling Palpatine on a flying stand.
He is only speed 1 though, which
you're gonna need to stick him in the lat LE.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go ahead and guess that at least one of his command cards will have something that increases his mobility.
I hope so, because that's
Maybe
the one thing I worry
power?
about him. That's one thing that really hurt Commander Vader.
Yup.
When he first came out, was the fact that he's speed 1 only. And so you were essentially required to take saber throw to give him a ranged attack, and you took forever to get across the board, and it really hampered him.
Mm-hmm.
So I do worry a little bit about that, but he does have a ranged attack built in. He's got, what is it, force something.
That makes sense.
That, basically, it does have scatter. I remember that. I can't remember what else it's got.
It's not a force push?
It's not force push, because it doesn't, actually move anybody. It just scatters them. Which lets you, redo the unit's cohesion.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Whatever.
I hope one of his force powers is, or maybe his command card is decapitate 2 models that are engaged with you. Since it doesn't take much for him to dispatch clone troopers.
Oh no, it's not scatter. It's suppressive that his force wave has. It has blast and suppressive, so it ignores cover and gives an extra suppression.
Okay.
But some of his other abilities that he has, he does have guidance, which lets you choose a friendly trooper at range 1 to 2, and they can perform a free non-attack action.
That'd be nice for rallying.
Yeah, so it's similar to Palpatine's pulling the strings, but it can't be an attack, unlike Palpatine's pull the strings.
That's fine.
And then I'd mention as a Taru Mastery, which lets you do up to 2 attack actions also. So if he's not doing other stuff, he can double attack. Okay. And after he performs an attack, he gets a dodge token. After he defense, he gets an aim token. And I did misspeak. You do have to spend the dodge token still to do the deflect with a Taro Mastery, but still it's got deflect built right into it, which is nice. And so that's really it for Yoda. I know we did see, what else did we see? We saw they showed off the Wookiees, which are going to be dual faction.
Which is very
They
exciting.
will be Republic and Rebels.
Yeah, that's really exciting to me as a Rebel player. Because I like painting Wookiees, and it'd be nice to have more.
Well, yeah, and besides being new sculpts, right? They are new sculpts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's new sculpts.
They're new. They really kind of revised all the
Which
Wookiee
is
stuff,
why when I saw them, I was like, hey, are these guys going to be a different unit type? Because they're so different. Are they changing up what they are? But I think the consensus was, or it was confirmed, that these are still going to be Special Forces units.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to fill the same role. They're just going to have different stuff. The one thing they said was they want them to work better as ranged units. So I think each mini has the option you can model them with the blades or with like their carbine rifle. So I think they'll all have better ranged attacks, which the original Rebel Wookiees didn't.
And this is not directly related to anything that was revealed, but talking about changing up the units from their first iteration to make them more fieldable. Did they have very good mobility in their first iteration?
No.
Not
they
really.
got a little bit better, because I think they gave them scale eventually, didn't they? Errata
I
them
think
to have scale, which helped a fair bit. But even still, they weren't super mobile to start with. So we also saw the super tactical droid, which we kind of had already seen because they showed it off during a painting stream a couple weeks ago.
And you had to remind me of the difference between a regular tactical droid and a super tactical droid.
Yes.
And to go along with that, presumably accompanying the super tactical droid will be a retinue of Magna Guards.
Yeah, the minis they showed off for the IG, was the IG 200? I don't know, the Magna Guards. The minis look super cool.
They're so good.
I think what was interesting about them is that unlike the Royal Guards and other units that have Guardian, they can only do it for a commander unit. So they're only going to bother defending the commander in your army. So they're not going to help protect Darth Maul or Cad Bane or just any other battle droid. They're only going to look out for the main dude.
That's fine.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. I think that's perfectly fine. I think being able to block for anybody, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. I mean, maybe it's a really good strategy, but blocking for the commander seems like the right kind of design. Just in general, I mean, for that kind of ability.
Yeah. And I think with the super tactical droid, they didn't really show cards or anything and get into it much, but they did mention that it sounds like they're going to have some sort of ability where it's going to play around with actually wanting you to use the AI on your droids. So like sort of like flipping the standard separatist strategy on their heads, because like, you know, right now you're trying to use like your issue as many orders to as much of your army as you can, whereas now they're trying to actually incentivize you not giving out as many orders to everybody, which is kind of an interesting thing, I think.
And I think that's kind of it for reveals. Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they
last?
confirmed, like the the snail tank and the mini spider droid and I can never remember its name, the ornithopter thing that the Wookiees have.
yeah.
They confirmed all that stuff, but they just said we don't have time to go into it, and we're going to show it off during some other future streams. So, which I don't know. I guess it was a little sad that they never went into it, but whatever. They did also have a lot of technical difficulties during that stream.
Yes, they did.
I mean, it happens, but
it does. It's a shame when it's the one that probably the vast majority of people are tuning in for is the one that has the problems, but that's just life. And speaking of future events, they early on confirmed that they'll be doing another mini marathon.
Mini-Stravaganza 2.
Mini-Stravaganza 2, Electric Mini Galoo.
The mini boogaloo.
In the not too distant future. And then at the very end of the closing ceremonies, it was confirmed by Simone that it would be, in fact, Gen Con. Which news has come out recently, I think at the end of last week, around the same time as this whole past event was happening, that Gen Con is getting moved to September. In fact, the second weekend of September, which is a lot of things happen on the second weekend of September. Someone has an anniversary, and Irish Fest is here in Indy, and now Gen Con in Indy. So send
Irish Gen Con.
Yeah, Irish Gen Con anniversary. That sounds perfect. Pitch that to the wife, Leo.
I'll try. But, we're going to be going there in, a month and a half later already.
I guess. There's a lot to look forward to, and knowing that this is just kind of still the first steps with AMG inheriting a lot from FFG, but we can still see a lot of the fingerprints from FFG in terms of...
Well, I would say it's more than just the fingerprints. I mean, this is still almost wholly FFG. I mean, at least as far as the minis and the units and stuff go, just because that stuff has to be approved out so far ahead of time. But it's the AMG stuff. What we can see right now is more the OP stuff they've been talking about. Just this painting stuff, that was been very cool. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think I feel like they do. Their streams, their weekly streams they do are much more productive and useful and interesting than any of the FFG live streams ever were. I mean, yes, they did play games, and they would show off some cards, but to be honest, I found watching Luke or Alex play a game of Legion for an hour, I don't know. I know some people do enjoy that. Like you said, Joe, the Legion the Legion videos we have on our channel are our highest performing YouTube videos on our channel, which is a fairly low bar, but so clearly people do enjoy watching games of Legion. I personally don't. So I always I like to play it, but I don't like to just sit and watch someone else do it on YouTube. So I never really enjoyed those streams all that much myself. It was nice for the reveals they would put and to see the units. And sometimes when they would kind of get into talking about like, oh, their design philosophy behind this unit or that, but they didn't really do that a lot. I felt in the streams because they were busy trying to play the game, you know. So I think we've got a good future here, I think.
Yeah. Agreed, and it's a very good point to reiterate and sort of, beat this horse into the ground until people stop complaining, which they won't. In terms of rules and mechanical design, this is all still FFG stuff. This is not AMG changing your game, making a second edition, forcing you to buy new things. This is still all FFG made things. Until we're told otherwise. Until that label changes. This is going to be a while from what they've said. I guess the only other thing to say was I stuck around for their after party. And that was just a really cool hangout and paint session. They kept cycling in different guests from their team to come on and just hang out and talk about whatever it is they were working on, and everyone had something, and it was just it was a very cool place to be, in quotes, when all is said and done. So yeah, it's very good. Looking forward to more. I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been anything that has come out since then. They've certainly posted a couple articles on the designing Darth Vader for the Defender. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, they posted an article today as a preview for the LAAT.
Yeah.
LE, but there wasn't too much new, except a couple of new pictures of the sculpt, where you can have an Imperial dude in the cockpit or a clone in the cockpit. Which again makes me think, well, if you play both, you're probably going to just want to buy one for each, so you can... If I played Empire, I wouldn't... And Republic, I wouldn't want to have just an Imperial dude in my cockpit, and then when I play it for
you gotta
Republic, now there's an
magnetize
Imperial
the
dude.
whole cockpit so you can pop it off, and then...
Yeah. Put a hinge on it.
Yeah. Or buy two.
I'm
Good thing
sure...
I don't play Empire or Republic. No.
All right. Well, enough is enough. I think we've covered just about everything worth talking about. We're just over an hour. So, with that, thank you, Leo. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, listeners. And I suppose I ought to give either of you a moment to toss in 2 cents. Going once. Going twice. That's all she wrote. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We will talk to you
Goodbye.
next time.
This is NPR.